Hi everyone, welcome to Community Impact. I'm Reena Augustine, the founder of Red Carpet Multicultural Fashion Show, bringing different cultures together. Today I have the pleasure to interview Mr. Noel Whittaker, who is an international best-selling author, finance and investment expert, radio broadcaster, newspaper columnist, and a public speaker. He is one of the world's foremost authorities on personal finance. Noel reaches over 7 million readers each week through his columns in major Australian newspapers, including the Sydney Morning Herald, Melbourne's The Age, Perth's The Sunday Times, and Brisbane's The Sunday Mail. He's a regular contributor to magazines including Australian Doctor and Men's Health, and also broadcasts on over 50 radio stations. Noel is one of Australia's most successful authors, with 20 best-selling books achieving total worldwide sales of more than 2 million copies. His first book, Making Money Made Simple, set sales records. His first book, Making Money Made Simple, set sales records across the country and was named in the 100 most influential books of the 20th century. For 30 years, Noel was the director of Whittaker Macnaught, one of Australia's leading financial advisory companies with more than $2 billion under management. In 1988, Noel was named Australian Investment Planner of the Year, and in 2003, he was awarded the Australian Centenary Medal in recognition of his services to the financial services industry. In 2011, he was made a member of the Order of Australia for service to the community in raising awareness of personal finance. He is currently an adjunct professor and executive in residence with the Queensland University of Technology, as well as a committee member advising the Australian Securities and Investments Commission. Please welcome Mr. Noel.
Thanks so much. It's great to be here.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Noel. How are you today?
Great to be here. Very well, thank you.
Thank you for accepting to come to our show.
It's a pleasure.
You have written many books, and one of the most important one that actually caught my eyes is Making Money Made Simple. Over 2 million copies have been sold. So what's the secret in it?
Well, the secret is, it's simple. You start with spending less than you earn, and that puts you in the top 10%. Most people spend more than they earn with credit cards and things like Afterpay.
That's right.
So the first thing is you spend less than you earn. Then you've got a surplus. The next thing is you improve your skills. By improving your skills, you improve your income. Therefore, there's more to invest. And you make compound interest work its magic. So then you start to put money away, and that money will grow faster and faster as time passes.
Wow.
It's that simple.
You have gone to more than 50 radio stations, done shows over there, telling so many people how to use their money, or definitely the financial advices that you give. So when did you realize that this is what you want to do?
Well, look, I was a poor kid, but I was a hard-working kid. And I joined a bank, and then I joined a law firm, and then I got into property, so I've done all sorts of things. But I really had this passion. I love to write. And when we had the real estate business, I used to write a 400-word column every week on real estate. And after 6 months, people started to read it and use it, and then that became a talkback radio show, then a column in the paper.
Yeah.
And then I finally wrote the book, and that was a runaway bestseller. It was selling 5,000 copies a week.
What book was that?
Making Money Made Simple.
That was your first book?
First book, yes.
Wow.
Yes. And 1 in 6 households had one. 1 in 6, which is massive.
Absolutely.
And everybody knew somebody who needed it. Their partner or their kid or their parents. Everybody knew someone that needed to read it. And it just took off. And of course that got me in the papers. And I've now been in the papers for 35 years every week.
Wow.
And I'm the one person who's never missed. I never take a holiday. Okay. So I'm the only person who writes in the papers who has never missed one column in 35 years.
Wow.
So I've sort of been there the whole time. And people have followed me and grown up with me. And if I go out to make a speech now, people say, well, I bought your book 30 years ago, or my dad gave it to me. And now the new book is the retirement book.
Yeah.
Because all those people who read the book 30 years ago are now wealthy and retired.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a whole new world. And the people over 65 are the fastest growing group in the country.
Retirement made simple.
Retirement made
you
simple.
mentioned that we never retire. We keep working.
Well, it's a transition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the worst thing you can do is just stop work and do nothing. You know, we are now living longer, but how good that life is depends on you. And the main things are exercise and diet and your social network and having a sense of purpose and giving things back.
When you say your social network,
Yes.
so what kind of people should we surround or associate with, according to you?
Well, you must associate with people who bring you up, not those who pull you down.
Mm-hmm.
You don't associate with negative complaining people.
Yeah.
You associate with people who are like you, are ambitious, who've got your values and want to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone in your group wants to go to the pub and drink and smoke and do nothing, well, then they pull you down.
Wow.
So, you know, you become who you mix with.
Yeah. So, at the current age, if we want to be away from the negative people, we have the social media thing. We block them on Instagram, Facebook. What did you do? Where did you block them from?
Well, I just don't mix with them.
Don't mix with them. Ignore them.
I mean, I gave a speech on the weekend. Mm-hmm. This guy comes up. Do you know that you're talking rubbish? 80% of pensioners rent, which is nonsense.
Okay.
You know, they all rent, they can't afford a car. Well, that's just wrong. Mm. But you can't convince those people. You just say, well, that's the way it is. But it's not true. Mm-hmm. And so many people are consumed with half-truths. I think social media, in most cases, is a massive waste of time. You've got to learn. I like podcasts.
Yeah.
And I like books. I mean, that book you can buy for $30. You could read it in 5 hours. But that book contains 50 years of my experience.
Yes.
You know, that's what a book can give you.
Yeah.
Just 4 or 5 hours with a book can change your life. But most people won't bother reading books.
They are now consumed with social media. People want to just keep scrolling.
Yeah.
And I have met people who have said that, what the hell, you're just wasting your time reading books. And I don't know how to convince them that no, it's not true.
I think the big thing is here, you can't convince or motivate people.
Okay.
You can open a door, you can give them a key.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the key was Think and Grow Rich, which I read when I was 33. And that book, Think and Grow Rich, has sold 130 million copies. It was written in 1937. I was mixed up in a film 4 years ago as an executive producer in Los Angeles. I actually walked down the red carpet. It was great fun. And that book's got 13 success principles. But that film had the stories of people living now who've used those principles.
Yeah.
And now my son James has taken over the torch, and James lives in America, and he is now the foremost authority on Think and Grow Rich in the world. And he's written The Legacy of Think and Grow Rich.
That is my favorite book, Noel.
Well, he's now got Dynamite, the Metal Dynamite book, Conversations between Napoleon Hill and Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie came to America broke in 1850. Mm-hmm. And he became the wealthiest man in the world.
Yeah.
Extraordinary stuff.
Yeah, I have read his story.
Yeah, I know, it's a great story.
It is.
But see, I don't care what the social people are doing. I care what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, you must tread your own path.
Correct. And have a goal. Follow that.
Goals.
Yeah.
But the whole trick about goals is that you have to keep working on them. Mm-hmm. But everything good takes time. People don't understand that becoming wealthy is a slow, steady process.
Okay.
People want to lose 10 Ks in a week, be wealthy, drive a Maserati. They all want it now.
Mm-hmm.
And they buy the tickets in the lotto and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's a slow process of doing the right thing.
That's right. That's right. You must have a goal. You cannot achieve an overnight success is not true. You have
no
to
such
work.
thing.
There isn't
But
it?
every day you should be doing something towards your goal.
Yeah.
See, in that book I say there are three sorts of people: in serious trouble, or just getting by, or doing very well. Now, if you're in serious trouble, your goal is to get out. Nothing else. So cut the credit cards up,
Yeah.
live on mints for a couple of months, but get yourself back on track. If you're just getting by, which is most people, because most people spend everything they get, you need to commit those savings somewhere. You need goals. Okay, I've got a housing loan, I want it paid off in 5 years. Then work on that goal.
Yeah.
I want to boost my super. If I'm older, I want to retire at 65. Then how much do I need? You need targets. Then every day you should be moving towards the target.
So plan.
And the way the body works, you get much more mental kick if you write your goals down and tick them off.
Okay.
And there's more chemistry comes into your body by writing those goals down every morning and then go tick, 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 tick. Much better than being on the computer.
Yes,
Yes.
Absolutely. Write it down. I'm a person who journals. So
Yes.
what motivates you every day?
I just love what I do.
Okay.
But I'm at the stage now, most of the time now I'm solving people's problems. Because I'm all over the newspapers, people tend to write with me with their problems. And I can often solve them, you know?
Wow.
Which is great.
Wow. So that motivates you.
Yes. It also helps people with what they don't know. There's so many people do the wrong thing because they don't know. Now, a classic case is the couple at 50 years of age. Their daughter wants to buy a first home, and they put their names on the title deed so she can get a bank loan. And say the house cost $400,000. Now, 15 years have passed. They're now 65 and they want to get the pension. The house is now worth $800,000. They've now got a half share of this house with $400,000 and they can't get the pension. Now, obviously they can give it to her, but that's a capital gains tax event. So there'll be $100,000 of capital gains tax. Then they lose 5 years of pension while it goes out of the system. So that simple act of half owning a house costs them $250,000. See, if you make a mistake in the money space, it can be huge.
Very huge.
And all those people taken in by big newspaper advertisements. Mayfair, for example. Mayfair are offering, 8% per annum, full-page newspaper ads. Down the gurgler.
Yeah. Wow. So it's better to have a financial advisor, go professionally, and get your life sorted.
Well, you can go to my website. There's all the calculators, there's resources, there's all the things you must do. But one basic: if someone rings you with a deal, you hang up. If someone rings you with a great deal, why are they ringing you? They'll be doing it themselves.
That's right. The other most important question is there are many people, as you said, Reena, I love what I do, so that motivates you.
Yeah.
There are so many people who do not realize what exactly they want to do, what they can do to find out what are they good at.
Have a go. There's a way to do it. You can say, right, if I won $10 million tonight in the lotto, what would I do? That's a good way to go.
Okay, yeah.
I do this and this. But it's important to understand that happiness is not from outside things, it's inside things. It's a great idea. I'll buy a mansion, I'll buy a beach house, I'll buy a Ferrari.
Yeah.
But after 6 months, you got a house, you got a car. It's the intrinsic things that counts. You know, it's helping other people. Now, my son mentored a young guy in Marsden, Brisbane. The family had been in welfare all their lives. He's now a successful businessman. Now, see,
Wow.
my son got more satisfaction from mentoring him. You see what I mean?
Transforming a person's life of a family.
Absolutely. There can be no greater gift you can give than to transform a life. And I get emails every day from people saying, your books have changed my life. Extraordinary emails.
This book, you just wrote it in November.
Yep. It's going extremely well. It's top of the charts. Yeah.
So Retirement Made Simple, everything you need to know.
For older people. But the whole theme of Making Money Made Simple, which I read in 1987.
This is 1987?
Yeah.
Wow.
You can have far more than you thought possible if you make the most of what you've got starting today. Just start. In that is a ladder to $1 million. The first rung is 1,000. The second rung's 2,000. The third rung is 4,000. The next rung is 8,000. The next rung is 16,000. You know, just plug, plug, plug. But you can't get from 1,000 to 1 million overnight. It can't be done.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So Making Money Made Simple is a book which helps even a youngster, a teenager,
Everybody, yeah.
to find out what exactly they can do, because many schools do not have the education of telling the student, go do a business, or this is how you have to handle money. This is what tax is. This is what happens after you finish your studies. You know, so you would recommend everybody to know how to handle their money.
Of course, but you need to know your enemies. And credit cards, that's your Visa card, your MasterCard, are your biggest enemies. My first thing is replace the credit card with a debit card.
Okay, yeah.
Because the debit card lets you access your own savings. Every time the credit card statement comes in, I'll bet you're like me. That's not right. There is no way all those tiny amounts could be that much. And notice that credit card companies, the banks, say payment required is the minimum. So the balance you must pay to avoid the interest at 20% is in tiny print. The amount you should pay is in big print, because they want you not to pay it off, because then they charge you interest right back to the date you made the purchase.
Wow.
That's the biggest danger, is credit cards.
Credit cards.
So if you can move to a debit card from a credit card, that's transforming. That's your major enemy. Mm-hmm. The next enemy is inertia. You know, all of us have inertia. Like I write about 6 newspaper columns every week. It's difficult. I've got to file one on a Monday, but it's Sunday, and what do I do? And I must write down a list, and I must put that on the top. Then I'll say, right, I'm going to devote the next hour just to doing that. And all of a sudden it happens. And I think the most basic thing, to become successful, you must know where you are now. Because if you were lost, the best map would be hopeless if you didn't know where you were. And on my website is an action plan, a 10-step plan. It's all on my website. It's all there and free.
Okay, yeah.
And the first thing is write down where you are now. That's your assets and liabilities. And then that provides the thought for where you go next. If you've got credit card debt, first thing, get rid of it. If you've got a house and you want to sell it eventually, are there things you can do now, like start a garden to make it worth more when you sell it? If you've got loans, can you get a better interest rate? So by writing down everything you've got, you know, that then is the trigger to move forward.
So like plan for the next 5 years? Is that what you mean by that?
Well, write down what you've got.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you write your major goals.
Yeah.
And you could be young, but I mean, well, say by the time I'm 65, I want to be financially independent. You can just go to my website, run the calculator and run that. You can then go to my superannuation calculator, and which will tell you how much you will have if your superannuation does this. Right, and now if the return's a bit low, it's important to understand, and this is the biggest one, how long your money lasts when you retire and how much money you need to retire depends on the rate of return you can achieve.
I'm going to go to your website and definitely
That's the major
check that
thing.
out. Yes,
That's
very
a major
important.
thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So do you believe in vision boards?
In what?
Vision boards? Vision boards.
Vision boards, yes.
Yeah.
Anything that triggers. But you need to have those goals.
Yeah.
Okay, well now, if I run the super and the fund's lousy and doing 4%, I'll only have 800,000 when I retire. If I could wind that up to 8%, and the good funds are doing 8 or 9%, I can have twice as much money when I retire. See, just changing your super to a high growth area could be worth an extra $500,000 when you retire.
Wow.
You must understand that. That's the basic. I think the biggest basic is the rate you can achieve. It's all about rate and time. In the book I talk about the lily in the pond. It is a kind of a joke. The lily is a tiny speck and it doubles every day and fills the pond in 10 days. How long to go from quarter full to full? 2 days.
Wow.
Quarter to half on the 9th, half to full on the 10th. Now, if that 10 days of the pond was your investment life, and you started late and only had 8 days, you've missed out on 75% of what you could have had by starting 2 days earlier.
Wow.
So it's all about starting early.
Yeah.
So the two major factors of becoming wealthy is you start early and get the best rate.
Wow. So I would suggest every youngster to start reading this now.
Of course.
Wow. If there's one thing that you would like to share with the youngsters, the advice that you would like to give the youngsters, what would that be, Noel?
I think don't follow the crowd. Have your goals. As I said before, spend less than you earn. Invest the difference. See, it's not how much you invest, it's the habit. If you get into the habit, you leave school and you start a job and you live on credit cards, you're always in debt, that becomes the habit. Then you start to borrow for depreciating items, that's bad debt. Whereas the person who gets the savings habit and then they start getting a part-time job and they learn the importance of working for themselves.
Yeah.
Then they put the money away and the money starts to grow, then all of a sudden they've got enough for a house deposit. Then they get the house and they pay the house off quickly. They're on the way. It's a freeway.
You start early.
Yes, but it can be a bumpy road.
Yeah.
I always say it's either an easy road that gets bumpy or a bumpy road that gets easy. So if you're doing it right, there's a few tough years while you're getting set. But every year it gets better and better and better. But if you're on the easy road, spend, all of a sudden that road very suddenly gets very dangerous.
Yes.
So you stay off the dangerous path.
Wow. So do you think that it's the duty of the parents to teach this to the kids while they're young?
Well, if you're a parent, you lead by example.
Yeah.
If you're a waster, it's hard for your kids.
Yes.
The great thing about that boy that my son helped was his parents were all on welfare. All he knew was welfare. But James showed him a different path.
So your son followed your path.
Oh, yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic. What an example and what an honor to have you in our show. Thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.